This journey, for me, has been one of the hardest in my life. I am proud to say that not only did it fail to destroy me, but it made me stronger than I've ever been. And happier than I've ever been. You know when you're through? When you're really through? I'd ask that question because the anger had passed in me, a while ago. It's been weeks now. And when that anger passed, I was left wondering what's going to happen next. You know? Because I still hurt. I still wondered. I still cared. The universe, God, source, the gods, whatever you call it, whatever you translate that to be, it's constantly sends you signs and puts you through tests in order for you to grow, to become a better version of yourself. If you don't listen or recognize those signs, you will continue to spiral down. But if you learn, even if you make a similar mistake or the same mistake, you have a much better chance of getting past it, getting past that test, overcoming that hurdle. I'm at a job site today. It is beautiful outside. I live in one of the most beautiful parts of the United States. Pulled up to this job site, contact Amy. Somebody was already there to do the work that I was supposed to do. First time it's ever happened, double booked. Okay, cool. Doesn't matter if it's tarot cards or tractor trailers or repeated events. Signs are there. And if you don't recognize them, if you don't recognize what God's trying to tell you, you're never going to learn. Or you are so bullheaded that you are going to continue to commit the same mistakes over and over again. And that is a toxic person. Toxic person escapes the responsibility of accountability. They run from what God tries to tell them to do in order to succeed, in order to grow and better themselves. They ignore that, and they take the dark path, they take the down path. They run in the same cycles of toxicity over and over and over again, and there's nothing that you can do for them. Sometimes those toxic people, they manifest themselves in different ways. Some of them have narcissism, some of them are sociopaths, some of them are just generally just complete toxic pieces of shit. Whatever the case is, the reason that you're probably watching this video or subscribed to this channel is because you went through abuse from a toxic person or narcissistic person. And so you know the player in the game. You know who they are. You've seen the habitual, continuous, without mistake cycles that happen with that person's life. You know, because you love them, you were invested, you love them hard, mind, body, and soul. Whether they sought you out to target you for their abuse, their toxicity, or whether you just fell into it and you happen to fall for somebody who lives in toxicity. Whatever the case is, you were there, you stayed there, you believed in them, you gave everything. There comes a point where leading by example doesn't mean shit. There comes a point where trying everything that you could possibly try in order to be with that person, in order to be around that person, it doesn't mean anything. There comes a moment, y'all, where you get to that last BS argument. The argument that's created with you, the devaluing, right before the ghosting and blocking and all that. A problem for which there is no solution. There's no solution because the problem was created just to keep drama going, to keep a problem going, to hide from responsibility, to hide from accountability, to keep running in toxic cycles, to keep destroying themselves, or to keep destroying other people. Whatever the case is, whatever your toxic person does, what your did or does, whatever that is, there comes a point where that argument is created to devalue you, to bring you down, to crash you, because they know you cared again, to continue that cycle of drama so they can block you, and then they can talk shit and they can blame whatever on you to escape the responsibility of looking at themselves and realizing what a piece of shit they are to themselves or other people or their kids or their friends, or escape the responsibility of growing and doing better, whatever the case was. And you don't care. Like, you legit just don't care. You might want to slap yourself. Like, you're not mad. You might want to, like, because you know the player in the game. You understand. You understood. You were watching. You were waiting for those events to come down. You knew when you were being lied to. You knew the future faking that was happening. But there was still this last little kernel. There was still this last little bit in you that held out hope. That this was the difference. That this time was different. That this was, they finally been through enough. They finally seen enough. They've seen the cheating. They've been through enough hitting. They've been through enough devaluing themselves. Or they whatever that toxic person went through or put some, whatever it was. You thought that this was the time that they were going to change. And it wasn't. And you knew that the whole time. You hoped. But it was that last little bit of hope. And then the argument, the valuation, ghosting, blocking, all that. Then that happens one more time. And you're just, you expected it. And you're not angry. It doesn't piss you off anymore. That's when you know you're good. When you get to that point, there's nothing left. There's nothing left to give the situation. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to come after. The hoovering, whatever it is. You know what's going to happen, and it doesn't matter anymore. That's some true peace, y'all. I hope that those of you that are going through it right now, I hope you come to this realization. And for those of you that have already done that and continue to watch this content or other people's content and become engaged in the chat with other abuse survivors, thank you. I'm not going to stop this channel. I'm going to keep doing this because of the journey that I've been through and the understanding that I have now. And I'm going to keep telling you. You're going to get to the point where you're just okay. It doesn't matter anymore. You don't want him back. You don't need him back. You understand it's never going to stop. They're never going to stop. They're never going to change. And there's nothing you can do about that. My love to y'all. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Try to suffer no fools.